My name's Daniel Miller. I started Mute Records in 1978 with a single that I made myself under the name of The Normal, called, it's a double kind of A-side, Warm Leatherette and T.V.O.D. A little bit later on I did a kind of a funny album by another project, but it was me, called Silicon Teens. And then later worked with artists like Fad Gadget and Depeche Mode, using much of the equipment that we're using today. Starting with Korg 700S, which was my first ever synth, which was used entirely on the Normal single.
Where did you actually acquire this thing?
I bought it in a music shop, a music instrument shop in the Charing Cross Road in the West End of London. It was second hand, and it was pretty much, no, it wasn't pretty much, it actually was the cheapest synthesizer available at that time. This is kind of the Warm Leatherette sound, approximately.
The Korg 700S was made up the entire music on Warm Leatherette and T.V.O.D.
Correct. I started multi-track recording, which was a revelation. I mean, it was like I was in complete control of every single aspect of the work. So I recorded it on a 4-track TAC. I rented Space Echo for the 24-hour session, which is what it was, because I could afford. And then the next day, I got it mastered.
Fantastic.
And the guy that I said to the mastering engineer was the first person who heard the single. I said, "What do you think?" And he said, "Don't give up your day job," which I proceeded to do immediately. Things like that.
Yeah, it's the inconsistencies, right, and that adds that extra vibe and also like a 3-dimensional quality to it, right?
Yeah, and it's got some very unusual. See, if you look here, you can see the names, and apart from sustain and portamento, they don't really relate to anything on traditional and conventional synthesizers.
When Warm Leatherette and T.V.O.D. was recorded, there was no such thing as like MIDI and or not even a proper sequencer.
No, not really. Well, yeah, but they were kind of like the ARP sequencer, but that was, at that time, was kind of out of my league, yeah.
Yeah. So basically everything that we hear on Warm Leatherette and T.V.O.D. you played by hand.
Yeah, the repeat thing gave me the rhythm on T.V.O.D, but I had to play the pitches by hand. And Warm Leatherette, everything was played by hand. So that was like the kick drum, something like that. The ARP 2600, I saw an advertisement in the Melody Maker. It was quite a big advertisement for a lot of second-hand equipment, including the ARP. And it turns out that all the equipment in that warehouse was the equipment used by the Elton John World Tour. So this is an ex-Elton John synthesizer.
Fantastic.
Which I guess was used on stage for his World Tour. And it was really the beginning of the DIY culture, which started, around that time. There was quite a few people, artists like the Desperate Bicycles, who wrote articles about how to make a single and how to release a single. And I thought, after a while of using the stuff at home for about 6 months, I thought, wouldn't it be great to release a single, just to have something on vinyl, you know? I was an electronic music fan for as long as I can remember listening to electronic music. So the two things, kind of the electronic music that I liked and the punk, kind of came together in my head. You know, the idea about Warm Leatherette the structures were very much like punk structures. In other words, typical pop kind of structures, but where there would be a solo, there was no solo. Mm-hmm. That's what I remember when I first heard the Ramones, where there should have been a solo, there wasn't a solo. And that really inspired me, and, you know, so the structures were very tight, rather than long, evolving electronic pieces.
So basically, you were on the forefront of innovation at the time.
You can say that, I couldn't possibly comment.